What's up, All-Inners, and welcome to another episode of the All-In Podcast, a podcast for casual leaguers. Man, it's been a while. If you don't remember, I'm the league dad, and as always, joined by Mitchell, Kevin, Alistair, the boys pretty much. And, it's been a while since we've done an episode. The Worlds is finished, and we kind of wanted the dust to settle with all the roster changes going on in NA. And boy, it's been pretty spicy, and we're going to get to all of that stuff. But first, let's just get a quick recap of what you guys have been up to. Just let our audience know kind of the deal as to what's been going on. I want to start out actually with Alistair, because this guy right here is smashing it in some League of Legends league. So why don't you tell everybody what you've been up to, my friend?
I've been playing in a couple amateur leagues, Excellency and Metashift. We lost out in finals in Metashift, and on Thursday we're playing finals for Excellency. We already beat the team that was supposed to be the best. We 2-0'd them.
Ooh.
They went the entire split without dropping a game until we met them in semis.
So basically, you were saying that you're basically Sooning right now. Is that what that's what you're saying?
Yeah,
right?
pretty much.
Underdogs.
Except hopefully we don't lose out in finals.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a damn.
Fingers crossed, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's pretty cool to kind of see Alistair been playing. I got to admit, I haven't been able to catch any games. I know Mitchell has seen some, and it's pretty cool, pretty good quality. And, it is nice to see one of our own pretty much doing his thing. And so we'll link the link to the stream if you guys want to check them. You said your finals is on Thursday, right? Is that what you said, Alistair? Thursday is the finals?
Thursday at 8 p.m. EST.
Okay, 8 p.m. EST, and if you feel like checking out some Amateur League of Legends with our boy Alistair, we'll put that in the description below. But yeah, glad to know you're still keeping busy, my friend. What about you guys, Kevin, Mitchell? How you guys been?
I'm taking care of a friend's cat for the next 4 months, so that's been delightful. I'm allergic to her, but other than that, it's nice to have a pet to hang out with when she's not under the bed. Besides that, I picked up Lilia recently on a Smurf. I got from Plat 4 to Plat 2 Flex 10-0 on her. She's kind of ridiculous. Like some of those games are like learning the buttons, and then I was like,
yeah,
this is kind of silly. She's got inherent weaknesses, and I think she's going to maybe get buffed at some point. So learning her now is a good thing for me. Her win rate's 46 or 7%, so that's
yeah,
but she's the kind of character, like, if you know how to play her, she's really dumb.
Yeah, I think
I'm banking on the Browns team using stats instead of their brains.
Yeah. I mean, if she gets buffed, you might see her on the ban list, because I think she's a really good champion. I've been playing her too in the jungle. What's your build? What do you build?
I either go with the Liandry's build, Liandry Daimonic, or I go with the Moonstone build. So there's a Moonstone Renewer build with her, and it's dank. Canyon, Dawn Gaming Canyon played like 7 games of it in ranked recently. I was watching it, and I was like, hey, wait a minute, this looks kind of silly, because Moonstone Renewer is just a good item. It's a broken item. Like, everyone who's out building it, I don't know what you're doing. As sports, at least. So
it's going to be Ardent Sensor. It's the same thing as Ardent Sensor. Mandate's too broken. They're going to keep buffing Renewer until they eventually nerf Mandate, and now we just have Ardent meta again. That's just going to happen.
Renewer, I think people just don't understand how it works, because like the numbers are insane. Like, you play okay, this is ARAM, but like you play an ARAM for like 2 minutes and it's healed 5,000 health. And I'm like looking at that, I'm like, not literally, but it's more like 3,000 health, and I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like, there are certain items that don't have that much impact the whole like 10-20 minutes of a game. So
I saw Yankos doing the same build, Moonstone Renewer Lilia, on a scrim he accidentally leaked.
Oh wow. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm trying out tomorrow.
It's just free wins.
All right. So I guess that's what I'm inting on tomorrow. That sounds good. Thank you for the ideas, Kevin. Thank you for the ideas.
Make sure you take Ravenous Hunter, and you need a kite, or else the jungle camps will mess you up if you don't know how to kite correctly.
Well, on the first clear. In the second clear, you can kind of just brain off. But yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, sounds good. All right. What about you, Mitchell? What you been up to, man?
Just chilling, college, online college, watching Alistair win, playing League with the League Dad.
That's right.
It's no big deal.
Hey, man, I do what I can. I'm not into you. I'm giving you a challenge so that you can carry more. See?
And then
it's like building character.
And then when we play with Alistair, we both into him. He has to carry us. You know, it's a cycle. It goes on and on.
I'm honestly surprised he still plays with us after all those times. But, you know, he's a good guy.
Yeah. It's because he loves us.
To it, don't worry.
Yeah. He's used to it even when he plays in his competitive team, too, right? Because Alistair is actually probably like the best ADC in the league and maybe the best player on his team. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about a one-time master tier player, isn't that right? This past season.
Yeah, best ever NA, baby.
It was for what, a day? But it still counts, man. In my mind, you're a master player, my friend. So I love it.
You've reached it. You've reached it.
You've reached it, my friend. You're a master league player, in my opinion, man. That's awesome. All right, cool. Well, as you guys know, lots of stuff happening in the NALCS right now. We talked about Bjergsen retiring. That was a thing. And yes, me, myself, and I don't know what episode it was, but did I not predict that perhaps Doublelift should think about retiring if he didn't win or get past groups this past Worlds? And lo and behold, what did we hear about a couple weeks ago? Doublelift is retiring, and I know you've probably heard, I know Reddit's talking about it a lot, a bunch of other podcasts have talked about it a lot, so we won't spend too much time on it, but you know, what are your thoughts on that? Give any kind of general comments on the whole thing. For me, I wasn't too surprised, honestly, just because it's really hard if you're shaking up a roster and, you know, him being a player that's older in age, and I just don't know if that motivation is there. That's my opinion. I think he just doesn't have as much of the drive. Now, that could just be also that it's a long time to even try to get to Worlds, and so in my mind, I still don't think this is the last we'll see of him. But again, it doesn't really surprise me that he's taking a retirement or break or whatever you want to call it right now. But let me get you guys' thoughts on Doublelift retiring.
Yeah, I totally think there's a chance we see him again. I mean, this is just Doublelift. It's not like I've never met the guy. I don't know him, but I've been following him since like he was on Epic Gamer in season 1, right? And he played Blitzcrank. Like, this guy is very indecisive. He makes choices on the fly. I don't know, he's just kind of like one of those guys who just like goes with the flows, and, you know, a year from now, his whole mentality of life and things could change. Like, he thought about taking a break for the entire year of 2017, and he came back halfway through Spring Split because he couldn't take it. He was seeing people play and being like, I could do that better. Get me back in there. And I don't know. I could see him being back in a year. I really could. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3. I could just see it. So that's my take.
Well, will he still have it though at that time? I mean, League is not a game where you could just kind of like, you know, take off and then all of a sudden think I could come back and everything's fine. So I mean, I don't know. It'd have to take some dedication offline as well for him to keep his skills up. But hey, I mean, it can be done. I just, you know.
I don't think like skill or talent is his problem. I do think it's just burnout, right? You give him a 2-year break off of League and he runs right back in headstrong, playing to get to rank 1 in solo queue. He's gonna be the best. Like, that's what talent means. That would be
pretty insane. And you know, there are talks of Uzi coming back, and you know, he retired just not long ago, but I know he's been getting his health back up to par, and so, you know, if you're healthy, you still good and got the drive, then, you know, why not? And so I would like to see it. I as a fan of Doublelift himself, I'm gonna miss him not being in the scene. You know, we haven't heard what his current plans are, but you know, I'd still love to see him play because I do think he's good. You know, I don't think he's washed up by any means. So we'll have to see if any of that comes back and he comes back to form and with the motivation. But what about you, Alistair, Kevin? Thoughts on that?
I can see him coming back. But I can see him. Well, I only see him coming back if AD carry as a role gets better. Because I mean, if you look at the last 2-3 years, you look at you see, okay, well now everyone's playing Vladimir and Ziggs bot. That's not much fun. If you want to play marksman, that's not very fun. Then you get Ardent meta, which wasn't really even fun for an AD carry, truthfully, because everything's thrown on you. So that's not very fun. Then you get Sona Taric, and then you get Lux Sona, and then now he's playing Senna, which is not his play style. Now
Yeah.
everything's topside focused. He wants to play bot side. It's not enjoyable for someone who plays like Doublelift and wants to play like Doublelift.
Yeah.
And I think if the role stays where it is, he's probably not going to come back.
Very good point. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Just the role of ADC, and he's not the quickest to adapt. We've all seen his Vladimir play. Just wasn't a thing to reckon. Senna finally did get good, but in the beginning it was atrocious. So yeah, you make a really good point there, Alistair. I'm glad you mentioned that. All right, Kevin, what are your thoughts? Doublelift.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I was surprised because I know when we were making these takes back in like August or a couple months ago, I was like, I don't think he's gonna retire per se. Like, I can't see it. Like, it's a bad split or two, but it's not the end of his career. His talent's still there. There was like very unconfirmed rumors about him being like, well, I didn't think Sora was gonna be on the team, but then that's why I retired and all this stuff. I'm not gonna go too much into it, but like, honestly, mark my words, I think that if AD Carry got back to a healthy state where it's very powerful, very high impact, I think he's going to sit there and be like, well, my only marketable skill is being a good AD Carry player and like a fun stream talent, right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't enjoy streaming as a passion, right? He does it because it's what he can do with his skills. I think there's a very distinct reason why Doublelift is not being announced as a positional coach on TSM. He does not have the skill set to teach other people per se. I think he's a born competitor.
Yeah.
And I mean, you see the same in the NBA. Like, some of the best coaches of all time are not the god tier players because he didn't need to struggle in the same ways that some people who aren't as talented need to struggle.
Yeah.
So he doesn't necessarily understand how to convey those ideas to players. I think he'll be back. I mean, we heard Clearlove literally just announced he was coming back like a day or two ago.
It's crazy.
That's an old name, man.
Yeah. Really.
So he's pretty much a year after Doublelift. So Epic Games Season 1, World Elite Season 2 and 3. So if Clearlove can compete, and I assume he's coming back to EG as a starter because he was good enough to compete for the role over like JJ.
He was a coach on EDG, I think.
Yep, he was. And I'm pretty sure he was just thought, I was like, I can do this better. Like, I think these names that we all know about, like the Uzis, the Clearlove, Doublelift, like they just come back because they don't know anything else other than this. They're not ready to transition into like esports, not as a competitor, right? Like, what do you do? So
maybe Bjergsen.
I think he's going to come back, and I think the most important reason, other than him being a competitor, is because I think someone with his level of talent and ego and just self-confidence does not want to end on the way he ended, like 0-6 at Worlds. He's that's not the note I would want to end on. Like, he did win NA at least.
Yeah,
he did win NA at least, but it's not the note I would want to end on.
It reminds me of like in the NBA where there's like veterans that kind of get older in age, but then, they still want to make a championship push. They're not in their prime, but they're still good. And so they form kind of like a super team. And, we've seen this with, I don't know if you guys remember the Celtics with Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce. But they, Garnett was already old in his age. He had played for the T-Wolves for so long, never won a championship, and he was getting older. And this was a team he could go to with other proven superstars, and it was almost like guaranteed, like, we have a really good shot at winning. Back in the day, the Lakers did the same thing with Gary Payton and Karl Malone. They joined Shaq and Kobe. Like, Karl Malone and Gary Payton were about to retire, but they were still Hall of Famers for sure, future Hall of Famers at the end of their career. And they're like, you know what? Let's give it a go. Let's go on the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe. Look, this is still a dominant starting lineup. We might be able to win. For me, I see Doublelift in that way, in the sense that I don't see him coming to a team where it doesn't already have a good chance of not just getting to Worlds, but even making it out. And it's a little different than the NBA, right? Because with esports, or especially with League, it takes a season of playing with each other to really get that groove going. And it could even be meta shift, right? Like, sometimes metas favor certain teams, so a little bit of timing and all of that. But for me, the only way I see Doublelift coming back is, again, if there's a team that kind of just has the pieces already, and they just need, like, they're like, hey, you know what? we just kind of need a solid vet to carry this ADC position, but everything's locked down. I could see him coming in, and hopefully that would be a nice story for him to get out of groups and international stage. But we don't know. We don't know.
Get the top 8 dub.
Yeah, and then he'll retire a happy player. But
I will say, to that exact same sentiment, is if TSM and Team Liquid get out of groups or make a deep run at Worlds this year, he's gonna be pissed, man. Like, he's gonna be like, "You serious? Lost and Sven made it out of groups and I didn't all those years?" I think I'd be tilted. Also, like, I think with like Uzi and Clearlove trying to come out of retirement, these guys are really young. Like,
that's true.
I think they're like in their early 20s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Early mid 20s. Yeah, they're gonna want to come back and think they still got it. They're not like 40s, like basketball players can be sometimes
Mm-hmm.
when they retire. So I think we're gonna see a lot of people retire and come back in like 3 years, 5 years. The scene's really young. So.
Well, and what you mean is like age relative to the lifespan of your sport, right? So for League, early 20s is still prime time for playing this game. So like you said, like they retired, but it's because they were in the game so young that it seems like they've been in forever, but actually their age, they're still prime time. Like it's not like they're over the hill or anything. Double Lift's a little older, but again, hey, I'm a boomer. I'm still playing.
Younger than Clearlove, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Double
is he?
Lift is 27.
Oh, never mind then.
But,
Okay.
But Uzi's 23, so like.
There you go. So Uzi really is young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, so now that we have two of the winningest, LCS players gone, it's kind of sad. Yeah. No more Bjergsen, no more Double Lift. There's all these roster changes. We won't really like just list them one by one, but who do you think now is the new, just on paper, king of LCS? Who's got it like this season on paper? Like this is going to be the team to beat, probably will win. Just based on their moves and what it looks like on paper. Are you guys thinking C9 because of perks? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Anybody else differ?
I'm thinking C9 perks.
Okay.
I mean, you could say Team Liquid, sure, but it's like, this is perks, guys. Like, this guy actually can play 2 roles at an international level. He's going back to his best role. This guy single-handedly, like, destroyed RNG in 2018 when they were supposed to win the whole thing. Like, RNG is probably the only team that could have beaten IG that year. And G2 beat them. So, off of caps, perks. Perks is, beaten caps before too. It's like, if Perks comes to NA and they don't stomp, I feel like it's a really, really big disappointment in Perks' career. Like, probably one of the biggest surprises anyone will ever see. Like, bigger than Bang, bigger than all these other guys. Because,
I agree.
Bang was coming off the downturn of his career. Perks is still at the top. I think we talked about this last podcast. I'm on the Perks hype train. I think he's the best.
A side note, news just came in today, or it may have been yesterday, but his visa got approved, so there shouldn't be any hiccups with what we had with Broxa and Team Liquid. So that's good. I'm excited to see him transition smoothly and see what he does. Just to recap, Cloud9's roster so far coming into this split is Fudge in the top lane, Blabber still in jungle, Perks mid lane, and we still have Sven and Vulcan in the bot lane. So it's pretty good lineup. Fudge is again, he was an academy, still really unproven in the LCS stage, but with that other 4, like that's a pretty solid lineup, and I think with that kind of talent, they'll be able to help him right along. Do you guys, Alistair, Kevin, do you guys agree with the Cloud9 being top dog, the team to beat, or do you have any other teams in mind that you think will probably be number 1 in this spot for this split?
If you
I think the only one who could. Okay. I think the only team that could compare could be Liquid, but I agree with Mitchell. I think if Cloud9 doesn't win, then it's a failure of a season for them.
Yeah, massive.
I think it was because you just paid $6 million and you're not your placement doesn't improve at all.
12 million.
Like
12 million.
12 million.
Is the buyout plus his contract?
Was $6 million and his contract for 3 years or 2 years or whatever it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
11.75. If they pay that much and they don't make it out of groups, then I think it's just.
Yeah.
I expect them to make it out of groups. I will say that right now.
I expect them to win everything. We're going to talk about the format later, right? But there's the pre-tournament, there's spring split, and there's summer split.
Mm-hmm.
They got to win all three of those. Like, they really do. Like, we're talking 12 million for one player.
Probably more expensive than a championship winning roster in like Korea or China. Per se, but
they went to semis. They went to semis in 2016 with Sneaky and Jensen. If they don't do it with Perks and Sven, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mithy.
Mithy, yeah, you're right.
I legitimately think it's going to be a failure.
Yeah, Mithy's coming over too, so they're kind of
reunited. It's a failure of a season for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have to.
Makes sense.
They threw all of their,
it's a lot of pressure, man.
Buckets, all the eggs in one bucket.
Penny pinching for years, selling off like challenger teams and stuff.
Jack's been waiting. He's been like, finally.
Dude, he's been biding his time. He wanted Caps, but he got Perks, and he's like, you know what? I'll take it. Perks is pretty good.
Oh
so.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad consolation prize there at all. Okay, well, if you look at Team Liquid though, because you mentioned that in the conversation. Their team is pretty dang good too. So Alfari, yes, he wasn't on a great team in LEC, but he was regarded as probably the best top laner over their last split. So he's over here replacing Impact. And then we have Santorin, who was, number one jungler last year. And then you have Jensen in the mid lane, Tactical and Core JJ. That's a pretty damn good roster as well. Considering, if we're expecting Alfari to play as well as he has been, now he's on a good team. This team could be pretty good. Maybe give C9 a run for their money, especially, they got Fudge, who's a rookie. I don't know. I think that could be a very close second. And if you have Jat as your head coach on Team Liquid, maybe they pull something up their sleeve. But if not first, are you guys in agreement or consensus thinking that Team Liquid could probably be second or most likely will be second? Yeah, that's a pretty good roster, honestly.
TLC and I are top tier, without a doubt.
Yeah, like if you ask me who I'm voting for, it's Liquid. If you're asking me who I think is gonna win, it's C9.
Okay.
I don't like Blabber's playstyle, but Perks made Yankos go from like inconsistent jungler to king of the jungle for years.
That's funny.
And I think that's also going to elevate Sven's level of play. And then they have Mithy on the coaching staff. And more importantly, they do not have Reaper on the coaching staff now. At least that's the main coaching staff. Yeah. While Perks is the shot caller who's being brought in. All of that means that Perks has so much room to work with these people and like make them like go to the next level. So I think this is like they literally have Perks, Zen, and Mithy on the same team, basically in one way or another.
In one way,
and the only question mark is Fudge going to show up? Like, is he going to play the way he played in their academy team? As long as Fudge shows up, this roster should be first. Because Liquid is the most consistent team here on this list. Like, they're the team you're like, they're going to be top 4, and it's not even a question. But their variance is lower. Even if Alfari shows up, their variance is lower.
That's true.
C9 fires on most of their cylinders, they should perform better just because Perks is the first S-tier import ever in NA history.
Yeah, like he's already exactly. Yeah, and he's like
close to second, and he literally dominated the league when he came in. Won championships for a team that never won a championship before.
Yeah.
So I just can't imagine if that was a support coming in with a language barrier, a mid laner coming in who speaks English fluently, has prior synergy with most of the players, and has always shown up. Except for, the Rise and Zero memes during his debut season.
I mean, that was a long time ago, yeah.
That was like literally as a rookie year. So I think he's extremely good. I actually think he's a better pickup than Caps for C9's needs because you can only have so many no-brain players on a team before it's kind of bad.
Yeah.
So I think Perks is a huge pickup. There's a reason they spent this money. This is like, I think it can't be talked about enough, but it's not talked about enough in some ways because people are just like, it's hard to process how big
it's hard
it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like pretty much Western Faker in terms shot calling. Dade probably if you had to.
Most like overall good player. He just like is such an overall good player. He's got like such a large champion pool, really good mechanics, really good game knowledge, and shot calling. Like maybe his raw mechanics are a bit lower than Caps because that guy's a freaking maniac. But I mean, you can't ask for much more from Perks. And I think something that's like other people aren't thinking of also is just the personality. Like NA is sorely gonna miss out on Doublelift and Bjergsen.
Yes.
Man. These personalities missing are gonna kill the scene. Like we
That's a
needed
great
Perks
point.
to come in.
Yeah.
Like he talks trash. He's hilarious. He's like he memes people. He memes his own teammates. I think we're gonna miss it. Like like remember when Team Liquid they played a TFT comp in their last game of like 2019 season.
Yeah.
C9's gonna do some shit like that.
Yeah.
They're gonna do some weird stuff. They're gonna play Pike mid. They're gonna play freaking Yumi. Like
I mean, even his
Lucian.
intro video was him like memeing on Fudge already. Like he was just saying, yeah, he's bad or something like that. He's like, I don't know if he's bad or what. But I love that you brought that up, the personality, because you're right. Like Doublelift especially like was kind of like the one that people either loved him or they love to hate him, and so Perks kind of comes in with that as well, and it's going to be exciting to watch him whether you're for him or against him. Gives you more incentive to watch. So number 1 and 2 are kind of easy in sense of Cloud9 Team Liquid. Yeah, that's kind of a no-brainer. Those are probably the 2 best rosters that we see so far. So now I'd like to ask you who looks like a good 3, 4, and 5? Because it could be, maybe it's a toss up. I mean, I'm looking at rosters now; they're just all kind of muddled now. Like, does TSM even fit in there now?
I have my 3, 4, 5.
Okay, who's your 3, 4, 5 then, Alistair?
No particular order. I have
Okay.
FlyQuest, 100 Thieves, and CLG.
Okay. Wow. So not even
CLG?
TSM on there.
Spicy. But CLG, Finn, Broxa, Pobelter,
No,
Wild
it's Turtle.
Wild and Smoothie.
CLG?
Yeah, I
He said in no order, so they could be
think they
fit.
can do something.
I
They
mean,
could
they
be
could be fit, but CLG?
If not TSM, but I hope TSM just runs it this season, just so we stop overpaying Hooney to run it down.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm so tired of that as well. But CLG? I think we're all like,
I was
CLG?
with you. Like I was like, oh okay. I had 100 Thieves as like top forward.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, maybe FlyQuest.
Mhm.
And then you threw out the CLG. And now I have to like think about it. Nobody on this team has performed in the last season other than
Turtle.
It's
okay.
Turtle, but like
Pobelter.
Turtle is okay.
Pobelter, I mean, yes and no. He played
Pobelter was
good,
playing well. He didn't have a team.
but he wasn't like playing like amazingly. Like I saw
Yeah.
Pobelter do
He
some
was playing
weird
pretty
stuff.
well.
He was
It's
playing
I like
okay.
Pob. I always
I
like
thought
Pob.
he's playing pretty well, but you can only play so well with a team that's running it as hard as CLG was. I know it seems like a meme, but I honestly think I expect more out of this team. I think this could be good.
Pobelter was on a 10th place team. Wild Turtle was on the 2nd place team playing well. You have to give the credit to Wild Turtle over Pobelter at the very least, right? Like, am I crazy here?
Yeah,
I
no,
agree.
I think you're right
No,
about that.
I agree with that.
I
I'm
agree,
just saying,
but I still
Okay.
think Pobelter
True.
was playing really well.
Okay, yeah, that's as long as we get the order right. It's Wild Turtle's probably the best player on this team in terms of 2020 performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then probably Pobelter.
Yes.
And then honestly, probably
100%.
Finn. Probably Finn
Yeah,
started.
he was okay on Rogue. Like it's not like they just got destroyed at Worlds, but that's
Yeah.
different, you know.
I mean, man.
All right, well, let's look at the
Finn was probably
so
the worst player on Rogue. But
Yeah, he was,
I
but
think
Rogue was
that
a top-
team can actually do something.
Yeah.
well let's
I do too.
Let's look at the roster
hate
real
it.
quick so that we can take a look at you already mentioned CLGs because that's kind of weird. 100 Thieves is basically Golden Guardians with Someday.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So just to recap, if you guys forgot who was on Golden Guardians. So top for 100 Thieves is Someday, and then jungle we're going to have Closer, mid is DeMonte, bot is FBI, and Huhi. That looks like a pretty dang good team, and maybe Someday finally gets the team that he needs, because Golden Guardians they gave TSM a run for their money, and honestly, like this team could make some moves, so I could see that with 100 Thieves, and then FlyQuest real quick. You have top is Licorice, who still pretty good. Their jungle is Jose Diodo, and mid is Palafox.
He's a beast.
Bot
He's
is
so
Johnson
good.
and Diamond. Who Palafox?
Yeah, he is. Yes, Palafox is very good. And
Yeah,
I've seen his name
Palafox
around for
and
so long.
Jose Diodo.
Yeah, Jose
Yeah.
Diodo's pretty hype too. I love
He was
his
from
Lee Sin.
R7. Was he from R7 or?
he was like one of the crazy junglers from LatAm. I don't know if it was R7. I honestly don't remember the team. I just remember his play.
I don't remember him either.
I will say that team is like, to me, like that team could be third place. I have 100 Thieves as my third place, and then I have Golden Guards as my, or I'm not going FlyQuest as my 4th place. But that team has a lot of, like, if Palafox can actually debut on LCS correctly, Jose Dioto can transfer his skills. And you already have Johnson who's proven. Licorice is proven, hopefully, this season too. And Diamond, who's also was quite good. I think he was on C9's Academy squad before, though, not FlyQuest. But I don't remember.
Yeah. Diamond and Palafox are from C9
Palafox,
Academy.
Diamond were both C9 Academy.
Yeah. I think this team has a lot of firepower and like a lot of upside, which is something we couldn't say about last year's FlyQuest as much. Like we didn't expect as much upside. Like they got second, but they didn't. There was never like the potential super high.
Are you kidding me? PoE, because I'm going to blow you guys all at the water with my 3rd place. Surprisingly, Dad, I'm going TSM 3rd, guys.
Yes!
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah! That's my man right there.
That's Sword Art, man. Like,
yeah, but, okay, look, I like Sword Art, but come on, man. Their team, as much as I'm a TSM fan, I don't know, man. Like, Hoonie in the top lane.
Guess who their sub is? It's Hanser.
Hanser,
right?
Okay, yeah.
They're going to sub out Hoonie for Hanser if he starts playing bad, and maybe Hoonie just pops off and they don't need him.
Okay.
I'm pretty optimistic about TSM.
I want to be optimistic,
well, is
but...
this supposed to be what we think is going to happen or what we want to happen?
No, he thinks... Dude, are you wanting or are you thinking this?
No, I genuinely think TSM's 3rd place.
Okay.
I genuinely do. I think Sword Art is that good.
Because
I think I'm at max 4.
I think TSM would be higher. TSM could probably be a top 5 team. I just hope they aren't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no,
this is about what? Okay.
No, I'm doing it based on
that's what I was doing. I must have misunderstood.
That's all right.
Okay,
I mean,
that's
look, you can put... I'm not going to discredit you if you put your wants or diswants, like diswants, not even a word, into your analysis. Look, right? Okay, I'm all for that. Okay, put as much of your emotional weight into that as you want. But yeah, like I mean, TSM, like as much as I want them to be top 5, I think they will be top 5, probably 5th. Yeah. But I just don't.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think they'll do enough to be any higher than that. Basically, Spica's great, yes, but like I said, Hoonie, Power of Evil. You know my thoughts on that. Like I think he's great, but I don't know. I'm
what
not. What
do you mean?
really...
You think he's great? Like
no. I mean, he's good. Yes.
He takes crap rosters and brings them to 2nd place and 3rd place. He took CLG, the 10th place team, to 3rd place.
That's true.
Come on, man.
I think I'm still
Smurf it at it.
All right, I'm putting my emotion in there in the fact that it's not Bjergsen that I'm looking at, but that's okay. Like Power of Evil is good.
Power of Evil doesn't have to play against Bjergsen anymore. It's so easy. He just has one guy or 2 guys, Perks and Jensen. There's only 2 guys better than him.
That's
maybe.
True.
But Perks is scarier than Bjergsen.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, if look, that's a really good point.
One demon for another one from EU. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully
had me with their roster until I see top. I see Hoonie. I just hope they go 10th. I don't want to see Hoonie in LCS anymore. I don't want to see him in Academy anymore.
And
me neither, but I'm hopeful.
I think that might be too, like, because Power of Evil that's an import, right, Slot? And so Sword Art.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, in this case, like, they could have gotten Solo, maybe. I don't know. Do you think Solo's better? Because Solo's
got revenge, man. Just get a rookie.
Yeah,
I would have liked a rookie.
I wouldn't have minded a rookie either, but
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I just get a rookie carry top.
Yeah, I'm just disappointed that in the Hoonie pick as well. Like, that is so troll. Like, I just don't know why a team like TSM would pick him up. But, you know, I don't know. Whatever they're smoking over in there must be something good. But I'm not too happy about their moves. So just to recap, their top lane is Hoonie, jungle Spica, mid lane's Power of Evil, bot, the ADC is Lost, and then Sword Art is their support. Now, Sword Art is a very good bright spot, and I'm really happy that TSM got him.
He's insane.
He's really good.
He's really, really good. Yeah, he kind of inted on the world stage, but I think we've talked about this.
Yeah.
I think in 2020, support should just int. I think that's their job, is to int. Like, you just look for plays. Like, we're in the meta where you have to look for, like, 45, 55 plays. Like, there's no good play anymore, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is what I tell my solo queue team all the time. Guys. Guys,
you just gotta
this is what I tell Alistair every time we're queued together and I play support for him. Like, dude, This is what I'm supposed to do, man. Did you hear? That's what Mitchell was saying. Support is supposed to hit in 2020. No, but seriously, yeah, no, I think you're right.
Yeah, I will say, I think people are sleeping on Lost and Deathly. I think they're definitely good. They just haven't really gotten much of a chance, and they tend to get because they were newer. They got kind of bad rosters, and then nobody gave them a chance after that. Not everyone can pop off in their first year, like Johnson did or Tactical did.
Yep.
And I think those are two players to watch because I think they are really good, but they haven't actually gotten their chance yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. And let's look at the rosters of these other teams real quickly and then just kind of give me brief thoughts. So Evil Geniuses looks okay. They have Impact in the top lane. Yeah, Svenskeren in the jungle, Jizuke mid lane, definitely an Ignar in the bot lane. Not a bad team by any means. If Jizuke... Jizuke, I don't know what happened there. He had some moments, and then all of a sudden he's out. But I don't know.
Where'd he go, man?
I have no clue. He just kind of gone all of a sudden. So I don't know what's happening.
Turned into golden glue. Yeah, it was weird, man.
But I mean, and if Svenskeren can get his form back, I mean, he was, the quote-unquote MVP not too long ago, but I mean, if they can get him back, I mean, that's a pretty good-looking team.
Svenskeren was the best player on EG last year. Mm-hmm. I mean, Jizuke had his highlights in spring, but Svenskeren was at least a human being for the entire year. I think it's kind of funny how I was just defending TSM that has Huni. But I do think EG is just going to get a lot better now that they don't have Huni because they have Impact.
They also picked up Ignar, which is huge for them.
Yeah, that is good.
That's a huge buff to their bot lane. It definitely gets a good support to enable him, and assumedly as they're
enable him, Ignar is ditching that lane, bro.
Enable him later on.
Later on, yeah.
He just needs a team. Matt was basically scared to play the game at the end of his career, and well, that's the only combo I remember with Deathly. I don't remember who else he's played with in the recent years, but
he played with Zazel when he was on C9 very shortly.
I don't think Zazel's good, so that's not very convincing to me. Is Zazel even?
He's not on a roster right now.
Wow, what a surprise.
Zazel, I mean, I don't know if some of these guys got moved to academy teams or what, but so far notable names that aren't on are, Solo, who was again a solid point for FlyQuest. I mean, he had his ups and downs, but he was all right.
He was a top 3 top laner last year.
Exactly.
Summer split. So.
He's not even on a roster right now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. He was literally on the second place team as a top laner. He was doing quite well, and he's not even a sub.
He was only doing poorly into Broken Blade, if I remember, right? Yeah. And Licorice a little bit. But
and at Worlds, but not poorly. He just lost.
At Worlds, he's against 369. What? Who cares?
Yeah, I mean that's true. That's true.
I don't really.
I feel like teams watched Solo play games that matter and just run it. I think that's what they looked at.
Yeah.
But that's still not bad enough to not even be a sub on a 10th place team. He should be a sub over some of these.
I don't know.
That's my guess too.
I think he should be on here.
Yeah,
maybe he just hasn't. I don't know. Maybe he's taking a break.
He might be on the academy team.
I just feel bad when we get players like Finn come over and he's not even a great player, and I'm no hate on Finn, right? But why not just get Solo? Half the cost, native player.
Exactly, I agree.
Progress their own talent.
The Finn move was very, very weird. I think for most people, just looking at that,
I don't get that one.
It's
I would
really
much
confusing.
rather seen Solo.
Yeah.
Maybe him and Broxa have some
literally
something. I don't know.
Apparently, Solo
it's a package deal. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know.
Let's be honest here. If TSM didn't go 0-6 at Worlds, everyone would be flaming Rogue.
Yeah.
So they had an easier. They had an easier group because they had PSG talent and they went 1-5.
Yeah.
And they almost lost that one game they won. If it wasn't for TSM going 0-6, Rogue is the meme of the year.
Yeah. Good point.
Well, Mad Lions too.
No, Mad Lions is because Mad Lions didn't make it out.
Yeah, there's Mad Lions, but that flew over.
Yeah.
That's even worse, actually.
That is true.
Mad Lions?
Because Rogue's group wasn't that easy either, right? Rogue's group was still, relatively speaking, much harder than the stuff Mad Lions
Yeah,
lost.
but they
should have gotten 2 wins
though. Group than TSM did. They should have gotten 2 wins.
Yeah, they should have gotten 2. Rogue should have gotten 2 wins.
0-6.
Yeah, they trolled.
I mean,
whatever.
You still have okay, but it's against JDG and Taiwan. At least those two are just like you just go 0-4, and then you have to go 2-0 against a Taiwanese team, which sometimes you go 1-1 for some reason. It happens. It happens to SKT.
I mean, TSM should have taken at least one game off of LGD and one game off of Genji, and maybe one game off of Fnatic. Like there's like those 3 games were like
should have happened.
Like you guys kind of threw. Big time.
7-0 Lucian into a 5-man Lily asleep. Legends will never die.
All right. Well, let's look at a couple of the last few teams. So a couple of these are mainly rookie. A lot of names here that are new to the scene, actually, or have been around the scene, just not in the LCS capacity. So let's take a look first at Golden Guardians. We have Niles in the top lane, Iconic as their jungle. Yeah, we'll go through all of them. Niles, Iconic, Ablaze Olive in the mid lane, Stixay and Newbie in the bot lane. For Immortals, we got Revenge in the top lane, Xerxes in the jungle, Insanity in the mid lane, Raze and Destiny. I know you mentioned Raze before, Alistair. And then in Dignitas, we have
I was
Fake
saying
God.
Raze would get picked up.
Yeah, I mean, and here we go. We'll talk about that because OCE now is considered resident for NA. But Dignitas, their top laners, Fake God. They got Dardoch in the jungle, Soligo in the mid lane, Neo and Afromu in the bot lane. So a lot of really just kind of new names here. Not necessarily new to the game, just new to the LCS. But yeah, like with the OCE opening up, with them being counted as residents, we're definitely seeing more players being picked up there since it doesn't count as an import slot now. So, I mean, pretty cool there. Is there anybody out of those rosters? Because nobody's expecting those rosters to be like, oh, they're amazing and they did such a good job. I think most everybody's under the impression that these are developing rosters. Hopefully we see some talent emerge out of here. And that would be great. That's what we want. We want our scene to develop. Is there anybody in these 3 teams or of any of those rosters that you guys feel excited about to see, or you think might be the next big thing to come out of the LCS? And we don't have to go deep into the teams because, they're unproven.
Soligo.
But... Okay.
Fake God, Soligo, Palafox, for sure.
Okay.
I'm hoping to see some good things from Blaze Olive. Hopefully
He's
from
been
Revenge
around.
and Insanity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Revenge has been like top 10 challenger for what, 3-4 years now, something like that, maybe 5, and he's only now making it onto a team.
Yeah.
Palafox has been smurfing in academy for years.
Yeah.
Same with Fake God.
With Revenge specifically, he's one of those like infamous Riven 1 tricks, right? That you see on solo queue. I always thought Revenge was like better than Viper at Riven, right? Because I used to love Riven, used to watch it all the time. And then Viper actually got his shot before Revenge, and Viper was actually doing pretty well in his first year, not so well in the second year. But I actually have pretty high hopes for Revenge. I mean, he feels like a guy who's like, I don't know, actually going to be a consistent carry player to me, where Viper was very inconsistent, really good on Riven, very mediocre on everybody else. I think Revenge is going to be a similar story. You put him on Riven, it's going to be one of those things that you just kind of have to randomly ban against that team, and then he's still going to be decent at like other champions that he plays. So I'm excited for Revenge.
Riven 1 trick.
He used to be, Riven 1 trick. Him, Viper, and Best Riven NA. Those are like the trio of Riven 1 tricks in Challenger. Yeah.
I would have said Box, Viper, and Best Riven NA.
Oh, yeah. Box too. I forgot about Box. I don't know. Box plays Fiora these days, so I forget about him.
I mean, Riven's pretty bad, but yeah.
Riven's okay. He's decent. He's decent.
For me, Palafox for sure, and then I think Revenge, especially because I don't know if we've mentioned this, but Xerxes on that team. I think he's a good jungler. As an aggressive jungler, his style is like very enjoyable to watch. He's like part of the reason why Unicorns of Love were even relevant for so long, and I think that will enable him to play a lot more into the carry style if he does happen to do that on stage. It's like basically just like Xerxes and all the rookies. So I think the Immortals roster like has a little bit more potential in it than the Fake Cloud, Dardoch, Soligo, and Neo Afromu roster potential wise. But the Dig roster should just play better on paper just because they have a little bit more anchor points. Like, we know certain players there are decent enough.
Good point. Yeah.
I like Xerxes a lot. He seems to me to be like the EU Xmithy kind of. He plays a lot of like plays a very control-y style, like very supportive control-y style. Like he plays a lot of Gragas he's known for, and like tank junglers and Jarvan and stuff. He was on that Splice team that like took a game off SKT in I think 2019. They made it to quarters, so they went 1-1 with FPX. 1-3 to SKT. Like Xerxes is good. He had a bad year on Origin, but I mean so did Alfari, I guess. They went like 10th place, I think, 9th, 8th. So
Origin was a bad team to be on that year.
Yeah, I don't know why though. They had some crazy players on that team. Nuke Duck, Upset, Xerxes, Alfari, but whatever.
Yeah,
we're moving past it.
Speaking of, you mentioned he was like the ex-Smithy of the LEC. Our boy ex-Smithy is not on a roster. I mean, look, I know he was kind of not interested in League nowadays, but the thing is, he's one of the most winningest players as well. And so, kind of
it's the third.
Yeah, kind of like the sleeper, also like the veteran sleeper who's maybe being forced into retirement, because nobody's picking him up. But he didn't have like a big announcement or hasn't announced anything yet. But, besides Bjergsen and Doublelift not being in the scene, kind of like these two veteran faces, we're not also going to see ex-Smithy as well. So, I really appreciated his jungling. He always kind of went unnoticed a lot of times because you had bigger personalities on those great Team Liquid teams, but people always had great things to say about him. He always seemed to, even though maybe his work ethic wasn't the greatest, he seemed to always know how to play the game and how to win, and play supportive roles. And so it's a great player, and I hope we'll hear something. I don't know what his plans are, but it'd be nice to hear what his plans are, and best of luck to him. All right, so that's the roster. Let's talk a little bit about the format now, because they are changing it, which is great. Would you mind, Mitchell, if you could break this down for our listeners, because it's a lot of reading for me. I read it over, but my reading comprehension at this old age is very bad. So if you could just give a rundown as to what this new format looks like, and then we'll talk about it after you do that.
Sure. All right. So we start off 2021 with a tournament. TSM and FlyQuest, they were
good kickoff.
They were first place and second place, so they're going to be on opposite sides of the bracket, and they get to choose, I'm guessing, like one by one, what teams are on their side of the bracket. I believe it's just a best of one single round robin. So it's just going to be a quick tournament to see who's the best. There's a little bit of prize money, and you get a trophy. So that's pretty hype.
Yeah, it's neat.
And so that goes over 3 weeks. And now we have Spring Split, which is 6 weeks long now to sort of like compensate for the tournament. We have 3 games every week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So every team plays 3 games a week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then we'll have the same number of games, 18. And then we have like the mid-season showdown, which is basically just spring playoffs, right?
Yeah, okay.
Whoever wins that gets a trophy, and they go to MSI, double elimination bracket, just like last year.
Nice.
And then we move into summer, and it is, I believe, 9 weeks or 10 weeks? 9 weeks. 9 weeks, same schedule, 3 days. Everybody plays 3 games every week. So it'll be a total of 27 games now. And then you get another top 8 double elimination playoff bracket, and top 3 teams go to Worlds. And throughout the entire year, starting from spring regular season, your record stays the same.
Yeah, so that's cool.
It's going to be out of 45. So your record out of 45.
Spring Split does matter now.
Spring Split matters. Yep.
I think it's great because, I think it turned into a meme, almost a joke last year. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad they made a change to it, because you're right. It's like, what's the point of playing if it doesn't even count towards anything? A couple of things I like about this real quickly is more games. Also, not only is it 3 days, because it was 3 days before, but there's 5 games on each of the days, as opposed to just, I think it was like two games on one of those 3 days. Now it'll be 5 games on all 3 days. So more league, which is fine with me. I'm happy to see that, and just more games in general. So I'm happy to see that, and I think it'll be really exciting to keep track of all the teams this year. it's going to be fun for us predicting and just going from week to week. But Alistair, Mitchell, Kevin, what do you guys think about this format?
I think it's a lot better. That's about all I have to say about it. Spring split matters now. We got more games. If you don't want to play more games, then why are you playing professionally? It's just
yeah.
It's my opinion. Like I don't want to do best of threes because that's too many games. I don't want to play 3 games a week. Why are you playing professional then? Like,
yeah, I like it, Alistair. Whip them into shape, man. I like it. All right, Kevin, what about you?
I think it's better too. I mean, having it count all the way through is nice. Having it be persistent, but still having the MSI and a cup in the middle. I think that's a good balance. I was a little surprised by how intelligent that move was. I was like, oh, I like that for the most part. I'm glad we're doing a Kespa Cup of sorts. I like that there's just a tournament at the beginning to build up some hype.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like once you get into the whole drag of like a longer season, like the first week of play is like really exciting, and then depending on how the year goes, sometimes it just kind of feels like a slog, and then playoffs happens. Yeah. But now that we have that 3 weeks of a tournament, you can see who wins that. It's the grand prize is $150K plus a $50K donation to a charity.
Yeah,
if you're choosing. Not small change, especially for some of the poor, less well-off teams. And then you get MSI. Sorry, I mean, like none of these teams are poor, really, if you think about it, considering they're all get all this venture capital in them.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, it's cool. I really like it for the bragging rights at the beginning, and it's just more exciting that way. We get to see some tournament cheese, I hope.
Yeah, so does this mean we're expecting C9 to win right off the bat, this lock-in tournament? They better get it together. If they don't win it, it's failure, right? Is that what we're saying? C9 failure?
Yeah.
I think Liquid should 100%.
Win. Okay, you think Liquid
will Liquid win or the C9 win?
I think they were both saying C9 win. You're saying you think Liquid
I think it's Liquid.
Okay.
Yeah. Alistair and I are on the C9 train.
Yeah, I can see where Kevin's saying Liquid.
Liquid winning.
What is how?
The only way I see Liquid winning is because they have prior synergy.
Yeah, I think that's what Kevin's going off of is the more there's less variance probably because they've been together.
They both have 2 new players. They both have 2 new players.
Yeah.
Top and jungle versus top and mid. Yeah, C9 has 2 new players.
Let's be honest.
TL has 2 new players.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll put it this way. Alfari is probably better than Fudge.
Yes. That's what I was gonna.
Blabber and Santorin.
They could trade.
That went back and forth.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, they can trade games. Perks is better than Jensen.
Oh yeah.
And
that's true. It's going to be a hype.
Obviously, Tactical Core JJ are miles above Sven and Vulcan.
Sounds like a Liquid dub to me.
It does. But on paper, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But I think Perks is just. You see,
is Perks going to carry that hard?
Perks is playing mid.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Perks is playing mid. He's playing a better role.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, Core JJ's playing a better role.
And I don't know
how.
Yeah, Core JJ might be playing a better role, but I just think I think Perks is gonna just win them.
So we're saying Perks is gonna be the Smurf X factor for this game.
So too.
I think I'm more on. All right, so we have a pretty even split because I'm kind of on the Kevin train here. I'm a boomer. I like the safety, consistency. You know, we've seen proven stuff from this team already, and so I think Team Liquid has a better chance of winning. We'll see. I mean, obviously, we'll probably talk about this more as it gets closer to it, and we do like I don't know, when we see the schedule.
We'll have to see what the meta looks like, right? Because we have like a couple more patches until that tournament happens. So it's like, depending on how strong bot lane is, because like that's where most of the patch changes seem to be happening are for bot lane. Yeah. Like if bot lane gets really strong, like because they keep buffing support items. Runon's is going to get buffed at 11.1. We keep seeing ADC buffs. It might be Team Liquid just because how strong bot lane is.
That's true.
So
I think I will say this now. I think if bot lane gets significant buffs by then, I will change my prediction to Team Liquid.
Yeah.
But for now, with how just mid and top centric it is, I'm saying Cloud9.
All right. Well, let's.
Mid is very strong right now.
I think you segue into pretty good transition for really the last thing I want to talk about, which is really the state of the game. You know, we've been in preseason for a little bit now. We've seen the new items. We've had a couple of weeks to play with them. They've patched some stuff. What are your thoughts, I guess, just overall in general right now? Do you think there's a meta evolving already in what you've seen in games? Is it more of the same? I mean, I know they've done things like trying to take Pantheon out of the support role into more of a solo laner role. Yeah, I mean, and, you know, the game itself, I think, looks, pretty different than what it did at the end of Worlds. I mean, do you guys agree or disagree? I mean, I just want to know your takes onto what you think of the game right now as we're in preseason. And what do you think we're going to see?
Honestly, I completely disagree with you. I think the game looks the exact same.
Okay.
Here's the way I see it, right? I feel like the game's been out so long, eventually someone's going to figure out the best way to play the game. And right now, and how it's been for a while, is you pick a carry jungler, a carry top laner, a somewhat supportive style mid laner that can support the jungler around the map. You pick a roaming support or a playmaking support like Set, like Leona, something like that. That's also a tank. And you pick a AD carry who can scale. That's how the meta's been for a while, and that's still how it is. That's not going to change unless there's significant systems changes to how the game functions.
Do you think it's a matter of what do you think that is then?
Everything.
What is it? Is it the champions that are out? Is it the items? Is it what is it about that? Because I think I agree with you in the sense that you just basically described League in a nutshell, like to a T. But what do you think it is? And Mitchell, Kevin, do you guys agree with that sentiment? Because go ahead.
I just think it's the fact that because games end so much faster and snowballing is so much more prevalent now than it used to be years ago, why would you bother play around something like bot lane that takes time to scale when you can play around top lane bruisers and who can carry and one-shot people at one item? It's not items, it's not champions, it's just the most effective way to play the game right now and how it works.
China's going to be loving this play style right now. they're like, well, what?
And the game came up with it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, it's going to favor that
like
kind of play.
It's been like this for 2 years. It's going to continue.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
I would like to take a caveat and maybe disagree a little bit, where I do think you can, just because of how strong specific items and champion combinations are, you can run tank top lanes because of just how strong Sunfire is. Just because of that, right?
There are exceptions.
Yeah, there are exceptions because they're like broken items right now. Sunfire's getting nerfed next. Like, I think it already got nerfed, but that was today. So speaking on experience from board today, Sunfire's really broken. So you can run tank tops and tank junglers just because of that item. And I do think that like bot lane is stronger this preseason than it was, not because ADC is stronger, but because Jhin is stronger. If you can get a Jhin on your team, I do think Jhin and one of those broken supports like Leona or Set or Nami with Imperial Mandate is just really, really strong. But like, barring those specific Sunfire users and Jhin and Imperial Mandate users, I kind of agree. Like, mid laners is pretty much all roaming assassins right now, plus Anivia. It's like, it's the same meta, but X broken champion that you can put in that's different, like Anivia.
Just
like,
swapping the champs
The meta's
out.
going to stay the same unless something's extremely broken.
Yeah.
Right? Like, for example, Anivia doesn't really fit into that roaming support in the jungle play style because she's just extremely broken.
Yeah.
Ornn didn't really fit into that carry top playstyle because Ornn's just extremely broken.
Yep.
Like, if you look at champions in AD carry, for example, last few years, you can look at them, they're just super safe champions. Kai'Sa has invisibility in her ultimate. Xayah has invulnerability. Ashe has hawkshot and utility, so even if she's useless, she can still do something. Caitlyn just has range and can stay away from people. Ezreal, it's Ezreal. That's why we haven't seen Vayne, Jhin usually, but he's kind of fits into that supportive playstyle with his W. We haven't seen Kog'Maw. Champs like that, we're not going to see them unless the game changes.
Yeah, I mean, do you think? So I know one of the things Riot wanted to accomplish was item diversity, right? Like, they didn't want there to be just we build the exact same thing every game. And I see Alistair shaking his head because I'm kind of with you on that, but it seems like even with the different mythic choices and that there's clear differences, there's always going to be like, I feel like in my head, like there's always going to be a best build. Like there are other options, but I feel like there's always going to be one that's pretty much just going to be better at 90% of the time. And, you know, it goes back to the root of the question or the goal that they're trying to accomplish. Like, can you really like make items so diverse that you would be kind of deciding, you know, really thinking about what item would be best? Whereas, you know, I think just metas evolve where you're like, no, this is the best item 90% of the time. And so I think they failed that goal, and I'm just not sure they can accomplish it. So
I don't know
They
if
can't.
failed.
Functionally, with how the game works, they can't.
okay.
I think it's okay. Between champions, it's changed. You're not looking at Orianna and Syndra, and their builds are the exact same.
Okay.
They accomplished that, but individual champions are building the exact same thing every time.
Yes. Okay.
And that's what's going to continue happening. And I don't. Maybe that was their goal, but the way they worded it, it sounded like even champion individually.
Yeah, you would
different.
Yeah.
There are obviously exceptions.
Yeah,
But
I would say there feels like there are more exceptions now than there were last season.
Okay.
Like I feel like there are champions that can go multiple different builds.
Okay, I'll give you
like
that.
not every champion. Like I think if you're like, you know, if you're an ADC, you have like an exact same build, and if you're a support, you probably have the exact same build, and if you're a tank, you probably have the exact same build. But there's like bruisers, fighters, and assassins. There are different builds. Like I feel like Graves, for example, crazy broken champion, right?
The roles that Riot cares about.
Yeah, he's a jungler. He's probably one of the most broken champions in the game. He can go either Eclipse or he can go Immortal Shield Bow, right? And he has two very different builds for different situations. I feel like Akali, right? You almost always go Riftmaker, right? But actually, Proto Belt's really good, or Rocket Belt's really good on her. And it's kind of slept on, but you go Rocket Belt into like 5 range champions and stuff like that. So there are situations, a good amount of champions that like, I feel like AP assassins, AD assassins, and AD fighters and bruisers have a lot of diversity. Like Darius, he can go like 3 different mythics, right? Stridebreaker, Gore Drinker, or Trinity
the roles Riot cares about they can do what they want.
If you didn't know, Alistair's an ADC main, so this will always be the sense until. Go ahead.
I mean, my example here is Kai'Sa, for example. She's been the champion that when Riot said they want champions who can change their item pathing game to game, I thought they want champions to be like Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa, she could go full crit, she could go on hit, she could transition into AP. She can't even do that now. And be effective.
Well, Rudon's change next patch might do that. Maybe. Who knows? You know?
Maybe.
I don't know.
She can't build AP though.
Yeah.
No, trust me. I've done AP Kai'Sa in a practice tool. The damage is actually pitiful. You can't even get 1,000 DPS.
Wow, that's rough.
On a really
we just did this. I remember. Yes, it was miserable. Actually, it was miserable. All right, go Kevin.
It was bad.
I will say like the champion diversity has gone up a little bit. Like yes, the role filling out has pretty much stayed the same, and that's the meta. And that's because I don't think there's that much innovation in solo queue per se. It's oftentimes very heavily motivated by like, what are the pros playing? What's competitive doing? Like the people who like their job is to not spam the same thing over and over just to gain league points, but actually win and find the best strategy for the patch. I think that it always comes down to not always. It oftentimes comes down to how competitive is playing to shift how we think how to play. Like Pantheon support busted for so long, and then it took a bunch of spamming from pros for everyone to know. Like obviously specialists and very like dedicated players who use their brains are like, of course Pantheon support's broken. But like people just thought it was garbage, even though nothing had changed with the role. Nothing major had changed with the character for a whole season. That was a whole year of literally monkeys on typewriters trying to figure out how to do it. And then the pros were like, yeah, let's do it. I think that there's actually a lot more diversity in item picking. Like, yes, I guess it comes down to the exceptions, but there are so many more characters with exceptions. Like I just talked about Lilia with Moonstone versus Liandry's. Like that's like worlds apart in terms of what they do. Graves too. Like, yes, the characters that Riot cares about will get more options, right? They're just the more flexible characters. They're the inherently better designed characters with better tools in their kits, and they get picked more often.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like in the past, like when I played mid lane, I'm like, well, I'm playing Luden's Echo. If I don't pick this item, I'm actually in team. And now I'm like Liandry's or Luden's, or Omni Vamp, or like there's so many things that go through my head as I play, and I'm like, that's cool. I might just end up picking the things I like to play every time. Like I'll just pick, lethality, whatever. Like Dustblade versus Prowler, for example. I play Nocturne. When I play Dustblade, I'm like, I want to, slip in and out. And when I play Prowler, I'm like, I will kill this one guy, and I don't care.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool. It's going to be balanced. They're going to nerf stuff, and I wish tanks had options, not just Sunfire. Like I love Sunfire King Zac. It's hilariously strong, but it's so stupid. I'm like, that's it. That's all I get.
Yeah, that's it.
I do think that there's like a caveat where like Dustblade serves a role and Prowler serves a role, and like they do different things, and it changes your play style. But I do still think Eclipse is like overall just the best item, though. Even though you want to do different things and change your play style, if you were to build Eclipse, your win rate might be higher every game.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
That's like, that's like, I think also where it feels like there is like imaginary, decision making, where it's like, I'm choosing this to have fun, which is good because it's a game. You should have fun. But what's best?
What's most optimal?
Like Gale Force is a meme.
AD carries is so fun.
It's a meme. It's fun. It's a meme. Is it good? No, it's not good.
No, unless it's Jhin. Jhin, it's actually good.
Eclipse is so good, man.
When I see Caitlyn's Gale Force and do their full combo,
I am a Gale
that's
Force gamer. Okay.
Yeah. Yes,
Gale Force gamer. Gale Force gamer. Yeah.
As much fun as it is, that item is just so bad.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't play AD carries, so I'll take your word for it. I've seen it wrecked so many times.
I still think the same thing that I think in solo queue, everyone's going to build Kraken Slayer or Shield Bow, and everyone's going to try and build Kraken Slayer every game. I think in pro play, however, we might see Gale Force on like Teddy or someone who just has insane mechanics and can do something with it.
Yeah.
I think it'll be
on good players.
And I think maybe, of course it's preseason, right? Let's get the overreactions now. And that's basically what I'm doing, for me, what I see and, what I see on Reddit, and all these people are saying this, saying that. You guys made some valid points, so I do think that there is a little bit more, there are times like I even play Hecarim and sometimes I'll go Divine Sunderer, but I've seen like, Trinity Force still. I've seen, other things where, there may be a more optimal, with a higher win rate type item, but, depending on the build, maybe I'll, you can go Phase Rush Hecarim, but you could go Conqueror Hecarim and change your playstyle accordingly, depending on what is there. And maybe it's just too early. It's preseason. We haven't seen much of the pros play, but like what we've seen already, like what you said there, Kevin, seeing the moon, what's that item called?
Moonstone Renewer.
Yeah, like that was the most garbage item when preseason first came out, right? And now it's like it's finding its way. And I think the more good players we see innovating stuff, the rest of the community will catch on. Right now us plebs don't know what to do. So
the item wasn't garbage; it was bugged. It didn't work. That's the problem with it. So I don't know if we ever got a chance to play with it in reality because it was always bugged when it got.
I mean, I watch a lot of
Azir wasn't garbage; he was just bugged on release.
I mean, that may have been true. It was bugged, but I watch a lot of high elo like challenger support players, and even after the bugs, they were still saying it still needed some work. But I mean, again, it could be really good, and maybe in the right situations, it will be.
Moonstone Renewer is pretty busted. I was playing an ARAM, and I saw Ziggs build it, right? And I'm like, what? You're trolling. He got like 7,000 healing in a game, man. I was like, what is that? That's Imperial insane. Mandate levels of damage. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. Imperial Mandate Ashe with Muramana is the best Ashe build with the highest win rate.
That's crazy.
In ADC and
Ashe
support.
Is bad, so.
I mean, it has a decent win rate for ADCs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no Jhin.
That works because Ashe is bad.
Yeah. I just think it's funny.
When, people are building like Zizirot and Banner of Command on Heimerdinger and
Heck
having high win rate. It's because Heimerdinger was bad.
I remember that. I tried to get into that. That's funny. Okay,
I kind of miss those items.
I do want to say
one
thing.
I say.
While we're talking about innovation, I want to plug my Ezreal build.
Oh, here we go. All right. This is how we'll cap off this
is-
episode. All right, go ahead. Break it down, Alistair.
It's a lot of fun, but it's harder to play. All right, so
Okay.
you're going to go Tempo, Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Cut Down. And then you're going to go Taste of Blood, Ravenous Hunter. And the build is Tier at level 1, finish Kraken Slayer, then go Muramana, Essence Reaver, Quick Blades, and then last item is situational. Usually you want to go Cyrilda's because it's effectively just Iceborne but without the Sheen, so procs on every spell. And what's really good about and so,
yeah, it's Armor Pen. Yeah,
it's also Armor Pen.
CDR.
So you get a lot more spells because of Quick Blades. You have the same ability haste as the Sunder build. And on top of that, you do drastically more damage. Mitchell, we did the numbers. Like for the damage to be comparable.
No, it was like
the Sunder build. You have to have like 5,000 health and no resistances or something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And the
lot.
Yeah. And the reason it works is because Kraken Slayer stacks on Ezreal Q and can proc on Ezreal Q.
So you're talking about true damage
Q
there.
auto Q.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a lot of true damage.
That's a lot of true damage.
The other reason why it works is it makes your early game so much better because you can build a Noon Quiver instead of a Sheen on your first recall.
Oh, that's a good point.
Which is actually a huge deal.
Okay, so I'm trying Lilia with Moonstone Renewer tomorrow and then Ezreal with this build here.
I don't want to see your Ezreal.
Come on, man! You guys know I can hit 1 out of 20 skill shots. I mean, if I can throw a lot of Qs, that means
Says
more.
the Yumi player.
I can't even hit my Q when I'm with Yumi either, so don't even. I can't hit my new snowball sometimes. That's probably my highest hit.
If you need convincing on the Ezreal build,
yeah.
Go watch the quarterfinals match I played.
Oh, here we go.
2 weeks ago.
Nice.
On the Excellency VOD. I go 13 kills with this build.
That's awesome.
I have a friend who played in a Challenger scrim and went 19-0 with this Ezreal build.
First time.
I would love to
let's
we need to copyright this right now because if we see this in pro play, my man right here, Alistair, was the inventor. Actually, let me look on your screen right here.
Actually,
for real,
yes.
The innovator.
He literally invented it. Yeah, he's been playing for weeks. I've watched many Twitch streamers that play ADC. Haven't seen a single one. Everyone just brain off goes Divine Sunder. Brain off. Right. Yeah.
Time to make that mobile fire guide there. Time to make that mobile fire guide there, Alistair. All right, well, cool. Any other last things that you guys want to talk about before we wrap it up? I think we covered a lot of stuff here, but any final thoughts?
Yes, I wanted to say this. I wanted to say this earlier, but I forgot. To all our viewers out there, please give our rookies some time to develop and grow. Don't flame them, okay? This is what we've been asking for. All right. One of the reasons why we don't get rookies is because in the past they play bad and we flame the crap out of them, even though it's the first time. Do you guys remember when Fake God and Saligo first came to 100 Thieves? Yes. Everyone flamed the crap out of them because they ended 10th place. And it's like, they have 2 rookies, guys. Calm down.
Yep.
So to all our viewers, please give our rookies time. Teams they listen to us and they're like, we don't want to keep importing.
Yeah.
We want to spend less money. We want to take time to develop native talent. So they're going to do badly. Golden Guardians has 4 rookies in 6A. They're going to get 10th place all year long. It's okay. Just let them get 10th. Let them develop their talent. And we can judge them in a year from now. But, keep the criticism nice and give them applaud when they do something great, If one of these random rookie teams takes a game off C9, you should be really, really hyped for that. And if they lose to every other team, it's fine. They're rookies, man.
You know what I think will be a little bit better about this time around is that there is there's a lot coming in. But 2, you have a few teams, like we mentioned, that kind of the bottom 3 or 4 teams. Nobody's expecting them to do well, right? So the expectation's already low. It's not like these rookies are coming in, taking up a slot of some well-known player that we already know. No, there's nobody to fill these slots in, and nobody's expecting Golden Guardians to win or Immortals to win. So they have, I think, this time the the lowered expectations, understanding that they're developing, and hopefully this time around they can do that in a safe environment where people aren't like, why are you guys in 10th place? Well, we kind of expected that from them. So yeah, if they take a win or not, if you guys can't see this, Kevin's got the cat. He's going to start sneezing here in a second, but I mean, I think it's great. I'm excited to see them, and hopefully we'll find the next big star NA developed talent. So I'm excited for that. Alistair, Kevin, anything else? There he is.
Nope.
Good. Okay. Well, from all of us here, including the cat, what's the cat's name, Kevin?
Bella.
All of us here, League Dad, Mitchell, Kevin, Alistair, and Bella. We just want to thank you again for listening. If you guys got any questions, feel free to email us at the allinpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet us at the allinpodcast. Be sure to check out Alistair playing in the finals of his league on Thursday. We'll have the stream link below in the YouTube channel, and I'll put it in the description of the podcast. But again, thanks for watching. Let your friends, family know if they are interested in the league. And until next time, enjoy your climb on the Rift. Enjoy trying out the new items. Try not to be too toxic, and we'll see you all on the next episode. Peace.